was the memories. To start it off, let me just say a huge thank you to everybody that watched the short film, from people that commented on it, just liked, or even just watched the video. It really took a huge amount of effort to finish that. So I'm really thankful for any kind of support you showed. It's crazy how I can now build relationships and start to interact with people all around the world, people that I have not even met yet, and I can do that through making these videos. So that's kind of crazy, but really beautiful at the same time. The only thing that stays the same, it was the video that got selected the most from y'all. If you don't know already, if you're new here, I have made a previous video that I basically asked you to choose which ones are going to be my next few short films. So I had to make it happen, and I'm pretty proud that it came out the way it did because I really liked it. Now, second most selected was the fifth, actually, Dear Basketball, titled Dear Basketball. I can only imagine how much effort I gotta put into that to create something beautiful, but I'm really excited to do it, as always. I love doing these, so it's probably gonna come in the future. So, what are we gonna do in this video? On my Instagram account, I asked you to make me some questions about the short film, the what stays the same. So we're gonna first answer to those. Then I'm going to be commenting on my actual film. We're gonna be watching some clips and I'm gonna be commenting on them, giving you some background info. And after that, I'm going to show you some raw footage of the clips, some behind the scenes from the actual video. So the first two questions came from Kyriaki and DNA Music, and their questions pretty much perfectly matched each other, so I'm gonna give one answer for both of them. What they asked was, how difficult was it for me emotionally to deal, with my emotions and my thoughts on a video like this that had a pretty powerful topic? How difficult was it for me to deal with all that behind the lens? My answer is that I wouldn't say that it's hard or difficult. Getting into that, listening to some vibey music and getting into that emotional state is actually something that I really love doing, and I actually have to do in order to start getting all these ideas and being creative. Now, on a video like this, of course, it comes with a trade-off. It comes with a trade-off of being overly emotional for a little bit of time, especially now that the video had to do with memories. But in general, I wouldn't say that it's something difficult to do. And also, plus, as soon as it's all done and you are out of this emotional state, you have a really nice script, a video scripted down, so it feels good. Next question came from Stilly, and he asked, how did you make those cool shots? First of all, thank you for the compliment. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of ways that I got to create my own shots. With first of all being just watching other YouTubers, other filmmakers. This is how I started doing short films. I would watch short films from other filmmakers, and I would basically try to emulate, try to copy basically their shots. And by doing that, you kind of start experiencing new stuff, getting into the process of creating your own shots, seeing what works best for you. So that's how it started. My first few short films were really inspired by other people's work. And you also start to create your own filming type, your own filming vibe. Another way with which I got to, find my own shots, and I do that very often, is just looking around at the place where I'm filming. In that case, it was mostly my room. So I had to watch around to see and find small objects that could give me some nice close shots. If you remember the shot with the glasses on top of the calendar that I have, or the shot of the lamp, behind of my laptop, those are shots that I add into the short film in order to make a pause, to add a little bit of patience, because I don't really want to just show myself and the story continues. I want to have some patience, some shots to calm things down a little bit, and I get to do that with different objects around the room or the place where I'm filming. And lastly, another way that I get to find my own shots is the most obvious one, just sitting around and thinking, and I have a little hack about that. If you're trying to get creative, you might as well find that useful. I basically play some chill hop music, and that way I find it way easier to be creative and to think about different shots. So if you're trying to get creative, now you know the hack. Just listen to some chill hop music and you're good. The next person to ask me a question was Josh. And Josh actually asked me 5 questions, which I'm going to answer in all of them because I found them really interesting. First question that Josh asked was, do you edit with an end result plan or is editing more an abstract process? I would say that this is pretty much 50-50. When I write the script down, when I find the clips and I direct the video, I always have a little list next to it, named editing list. So every time that I have a new idea that something pops in my mind that could be useful in the editing, I just write it on the list. And by the end of writing the script, I have a lot of bullets of things that I want to do on the editing. But as soon as I start doing the editing, I find a lot of sequences, transitions, different stuff that I pretty much find along the way. So I would say that it's a combination of both, 50% what's written on that editing list and 50% what comes while I'm editing. Next question from Jas is, do you pick out music before you film that you like, or do you find music later to match the film? And that's pretty straightforward. I actually find music even before writing the script. So before writing the script, I hop into chill hop and I find a music that has the vibe of the video that I want to create. So as soon as I have that music, I'll play it in my headphones, as I said before, and I start to get all these ideas. I start writing the script. So yeah, writing the script, editing, it all happens right after I find the music. Question number 3 from Jas was, were you making films before you started your YouTube? And my question is absolutely not. It might seem a little bit strange, but I have watched tons of tutorials. I have watched tons of other filmmakers, and that's how I got to learn, how to do my own short films. Before YouTube, I didn't even have a camera. I was only filming around with my phone a couple times, and that's why I have all these memories, that I added to the video, to the short film. But yeah, I had zero experience, and it all came from watching tons of tutorials, emulating other people, and yeah, just experimenting, with my own camera. Josh actually asked me 6 questions, not 5, so I was wrong previously. Question number 4 from Josh is, do you think memories can change if people who hold them change? And Josh went really deep into it. Like, he has asked me some deep questions around here, and it's pretty difficult for me to answer. But I wouldn't say that memories change. I think that realistically memories are impossible to change as they belong to the past, So what I do think that changes though is our perspective towards our memories. I'm pretty sure you have experienced that, and I have experienced that. Looking back, you might have had some bad memories, some negative memories, but looking back to it, you see it as something that was not that serious, or as something that you would not mind experiencing twice. So yeah, I don't think that memories do change, but I think that our perspective towards our memories and how we see them, negative or positive, changes. Think about the memories that you have captured with your phone. Those are not gonna change in any time soon, no matter what, Next question was, do you think memory is why we come here to live on Earth, to create memories we want? I wouldn't say that memories are the reason why we come here. I guess there is not a reason as to why we come here on Earth. But creating memories, whether these are negative or whether these are positive, is something that will eventually happen. And a lot of times we might find ourselves emotional over them. And that comes from the fact that we evolve and we change, and these stay the same because they belong to the past. But traveling to the past is something that cannot happen, is unrealistic, so this is why we get really emotional over them. And last question from Jas was, do you think memory is what we can take with us into the afterlife, if you believe in afterlife? Look, that's a really difficult question to answer. I don't strongly believe in either of the two. I have not Of course, I have thought about it, but I can't give you an answer to if I think there is afterlife or not. I can't realistically answer to that. But what I will say is that, maybe if there is an afterlife and it's a continuation of life, of our current life, then I guess we take the memories with us. If afterlife is a new life that starts all over again, maybe we don't take the memories with us, or maybe we take memories from our past life. But that's just my thoughts. I can't realistically give you an answer on that. But that was a really tricky question. I like that. Now let's hop into some clips, some parts of the video where I want to give you some background info that you might find interesting. And starting with this, this is the first shot of the film. Nothing really crazy here, right? But if you think about that, imagine, like right now I'm standing in the middle of the road, cars passing by, have to slow down kind of to avoid the tripod. Imagine just being another person that lives on the top floor or, under us, and you come out to the balcony to see another dude in the middle of the road filming you. That would be a little bit weird. So I had to overcome, in order to take that shot, I had to overcome the fear of somebody just pulling up on me for answers. Like, why are you filming me, Now this shot right here, and again, that's a pretty simple shot. You see that shot, you're like, yeah, that's pretty simple. This dude is just sleeping and filming himself. But I'm just gonna show you with a picture right here. It's gonna appear somewhere in the screen. Just look at what I had to literally construct in order to take that shot. That right there took me a good 15 minutes just to stabilize, first of all. And I also have a weight on top of the tripod in order for the camera to not fall. But imagine all those 3 kilos of weight just falling on top of my body, I would need a hospital right there, I'm also putting my life on the line, putting my body on the line for this short film. I have not ever done something close to that. Now, you can hear the alarm clock ringing, but in real life, the alarm clock was not going off at this time. I thought that it would be something like, if you're thinking about creating short films, I thought that this would actually help you. If I had to set the alarm clock for every single shot of these, first of all, it would take a lot of time, and secondly, the alarm clock at the different shots in the sequence would not be synchronized. So what I did was pretend that the alarm clock is actually going off when in reality it wasn't, and then I just recorded the alarm clock going off and added just the sound to the whole clip, so it seems like it's actually ringing. Next shot that I want to talk about is those rooftop shots. Here I had to stay 2 hours. Let me just play that a bit. You can see that it changes lightings and stuff. I had to stay 2 hours on top to get all these shots from different lightings, different times. And I was also hoping that a lot of people are going to open their lights when the sun goes down. Which is something that did not happen, and I was pretty frustrated. You can see here there's not many people that open their lights in their apartments. It obviously would have made a better shot, but it is what it is. When I was sitting there, on top, waiting for the sun to go down and film those shots, I got to see, when you are on the rooftop, you get to see the city from all angles. You get to hear the city, the ambience from all angles, and it's kind of fascinating how you see all these little apartments, and in every apartment there's a different family, and their lives for these people are everything to them. And now you are able to see on top of all that a lot of different homes and a lot of different lives, but it's just in that mass of people. It's kind of fascinating, and while listening to the music it also gets a little more emotional. Now, why did I have to stay there for 2 hours? It was not only for the shots. I could have possibly just went down in my home, come back up, take the camera, right? I don't want to use the word psycho or anything like that, because there are people that do have syndromes like these, so I don't want to use these words just for fun. But I stayed at the rooftop because to take care of the camera, basically. You know, somebody could have thrown something from another rooftop, or a bird could have come and sit on top of my camera for no reason, you know. So I just had to stay there and protect my camera like a real man. So I just had to stay there and protect my camera, because you never know what's gonna happen. It's something really valuable in my life right now, so I had to take care of it. Now here, as you can see, as it opens and I grab my phone and I go to bed, these shots were actually filmed at daytime. It seems like it's nighttime before I have closed the windows, but it's actually daytime outside, and that helped me, you know, to save a lot of time, because otherwise I would have to put the same clothes on. I'll have to arrange the room and the bed, everything the same type of way, tied up my room the way it was. So in order to avoid doing all these procedures, you just close the window and you make it seem like it was nighttime, and you just keep on filming the shots that you have to film on bed. But yeah, you know, it's all about the execution and the message. It doesn't really matter if it was daytime or nighttime, you know. Yeah, hopefully you did not lose any respect for the short film because it was daytime there. And the last comment that I'm gonna do is right here. You know, when I got the idea of, let's just pause it on a different picture. Nope. Yeah, let's just stay here. So when I got the idea of the dreaming part, I had a real big question to answer. I kind of thought, do we actually dream about memories? It's a perfect way to end the video, to just dream about the memories, but is memories something that we actually dream of? I had to answer to that question, and I searched it up on Google, and I was lucky enough to find that we actually do dream about memories, but it's something really uncommon, and I don't think that I've ever done that. But the fact that we actually do calmed my heart down, because otherwise I would have to find a whole nother ending to the whole video, which is something that I obviously did not want to do. So yeah, now finishing with commenting on the video and stuff, I'm actually gonna play you some actual raw behind the scenes footage from the clips. Some of them you might find interesting, others are more to the funny side. Yeah. Let's get it. Τι κάνω ρε μαλάκα, τι έχω κάνει ρε πούστη. Πω ρε. Λοιπόν, πώς κοιμούμαι τώρα, έτσι. Okay. Πόσο μάλακας είμαι. I think I'm kind of addicted to memories, if you have not found already. I have another short film which is titled But At Least We'll Have the Memories, and it's one of my previous short films. You can go ahead and watch it. It's gonna be on the right top corner. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that video as much as I did. It was my first time answering to your questions and I really loved it. I'm planning to make this a thing actually. You know, every time that I make a short film, it's going to be followed by a little video like this, answering to your questions, giving you some backstage stuff. So I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description for the full video. And yep, next up is Dear Basketball. This is probably gonna take a little longer than usual because it's gonna be, I really want to create a great video dedicated to basketball. So I'm probably gonna have other videos coming in between as I'm working on it. Yes. Remember to stay positive. Remember to stay dedicated. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll catch you on the next one.